But now it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today. She's our very own Maureen G. Mulvaney, but we call her MGM, our big production.
Thank you, Miss Sandra. Thank you, Sandra. And today, before we get started in my presentation, I wanted you, this is one that I picked out specifically for today, and I think that you will really like it. And this is Black History Month, so this comes from StoryCorps.
Lola was my first roommate when I was a kid. So we shared a room. She would keep the light on every night because she would be up praying and the light would still be on in the morning. And I just always remember her in the kitchen making hopia, smoothing out the mung bean, making little pockets with the dough and stuffing them in pink donut boxes. And she would let me eat the duds. How did I not have childhood diabetes?
The kitchen was always greasy and the electric bill was going up. But that was Lola's business and she never stopped working. I was told that when she was little, she was the top student. But my mom did not finish high school because my grandfather passed away early. So she did all kinds of work to support her family. And when she had her children, she had to provide for us. There was nobody else. There was no such thing as vacation. And when Lola got older, she lived with us, bringing up her grandchildren.
Yeah, it was, I think, 2014. And you called me. You were caring for Lola at the time. And so I wanted to come home to help care for Lola because she'd always been the one who took care of all of us. Before she passed, she'd tell me stories about her life. And that's when Lola and I started painting them. You know, I think I learned from Lola that there's a difference between your job and your work. Your job is something you leave behind at the end of a day, but your work is everything you leave behind at the end of a lifetime. Lola, she didn't have the most glamorous jobs, but I think her work was all of us.
It's her love for us that I remember most. It was not so much of hugging or saying I love you, but it was all the things she did. You're right. We are her work.
And that just meant so much to me, that story. I just thought it was perfect for today's talk. And today's talk is going to be faith plus strength plus action equal exceptional results. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And so I picked faith, strength, and action because it makes a triangle. And the triangle is one of the most geometrically strong figures that we have, and it's stable. And of course, that's why I'm picking it, because my family, my life's work is my family. And these are my two grandchildren, Michaela, age 9, and Matthew, age 7. And we are the 3 M's, and we make a very strong triangle. And so, but faith plus strength plus action is where we are today. And so I always start with faith, because faith is the confidence of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And this is hard sometimes because we know that the sun is going to rise, but we don't see it before it happens. We don't see that flower before it happens. And look at Lele says, yes, she's ready to talk. She is ready to say it out. You go, girl. And so she's saying it out. She loves faith. And so that's what we say. And it is just things not seen, but we know can bring into reality. Is there anybody in here besides me that ever found that on the physical plane things looked a little hopeless? They did not look the way you wanted them to look. And you were thinking, oh my gosh, how is this ever going to work out? And so that's why I think faith is all about what you physically cannot see, but but you can absolutely create the end result you want by starting in mind Christ's Spirit within. And so you look at the physical plane, it's not where you want to be, but you know that the end result can be very, very different if you will absolutely have faith that you and the Christ Spirit can make that come to pass. And so I love Unity because it is a practical Christianity, and I love practical things that help me, remind me of faith. And I love the Etch-a-Sketch. Anybody love the Etch-a-Sketch? Do y'all remember the Etch-a-Sketch? I loved the Etch-a-Sketch. As a kid, you turn those little knobs, and you could draw any picture you wanted. And then what happened? If you didn't like the picture that you got, if you didn't like the way you drew it, what could you do? Shake it and shake it and shake it, and magically it disappeared, and then you could turn around and draw your own picture. And that's what I say. You could shake, 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 and get rid of what you didn't like, and you could then reimagine it the way you wanted it. And to me, that's faith. Faith is absolutely magically create a new picture with your end result in mind. And so this is where we kind of mess up, because sometimes we see what is and we want to stay in that, stay stuck and mired in what's happening. Forget that. We start with the end result in mind. That's what almost all the Olympians, when they want to win a race, they start with the end in mind. So let's everybody together. You start with the end result you want. And we say what? Yes. And because why? God, guide me in this situation. I accept divine support now, and I accept divine healing now. And my prayer this week is, thank you, God. If you never know what to pray, if you don't know what to say, just say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. That says it all, because the end result is already there. And so thank you, God, for finding my grandchildren. Thank you, God. I accept divine support and to reunite my Mulvaney family. And I accept divine healing to gain full access to my Michaela and Matthew. And we always say, this or something better, because sometimes we forget to say that. Well, I might not know the right plan, but this or something better absolutely covers it all, because we know that with God, all things are possible. If there's one saying that I love the most, it is that one. With God, all things are possible. And so we have faith. And now we have to have strength. And this doesn't mean brute force strength. This can be our spiritual faith, strength and our physical strength. So we look at strength is the facility of steadfastness, of endurance, of stability. That's why I love that triangle so much. Poise and determination. It is a power that enables us to hold our course in the midst of difficulty. How many have found that hard? To hold your course in the difficulty times and to stand firm in the face of opposition, to persist in our efforts until we achieve our goal. That's what Charles Fillmore says, and I love that about strength, because there's going to be difficulties, there will be challenges, and our thing is to stand strong and be able to still achieve our goal while we do that. And so strength plus the faith helps us to get there. And my life's work, this is not my job. My job is speaking. I do that all over the world, so I am so grateful, and I say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, God, for giving me that. I'm an Irish kid that learned to speak. It's unbelievable. But my life's work is my family. And this is when my little Matthew was only 4 and Michaela was 6. We go back to Mother's Day of 2019, and this lady in the middle was my exceptional daughter, Maureen. Her name, Maureen, came from, my mother's name was Mary, but everybody called her Marie, so it was a combination of Maureen. And her middle name was G. G-I-E stands for God is everywhere, because I adopted her from Vietnam and had to go over to Vietnam to pick her up. And Marie was the love of my life. Oh my gosh, this little baby. She had a cleft palate, hearing loss, respiratory disease. But those were only challenges that I needed to hold my course and be able to circumvent. So that's where I needed the strength to get through that. Those were the easy. But putting all the love in so that she could have an emotional, stable situation where she could come from. And she was everything to me, the perfect child. She was sweet-natured, kind, and a gentle, gentle, gentle soul. And what was so wonderful is that she was raised in the Unity tradition. She was raised in the Unity tradition. She used to play piano for our Unity church. She used to not only play piano, but she was in the youth group. And then she grew up to be part of the youth. She supported the youth, and she used to take care of all the kids. So she was just unbelievable. And then she hit her teens. Anybody have problems with children that hit their teens? And she hit her teens, and she had peer challenges that came about, and it was in the height of the opioid crisis. And so you can just imagine the kind of things, and she had her own journey that she had to go on, and I had lent a hand every way I possibly could, but she was going to take that journey. And so then she came back as a young adult, and we came back together, and oh my gosh, she was a different person. And then she met this guy. He was 20 years her senior, and he love bombed her. And what love bombing means is she was the prettiest, the cutest, the smartest, and who wouldn't love that? Who doesn't love somebody telling you you're everything, you're my love, the love of my life? And so they fell in love and married. And they produced my two beautiful grandchildren. But sometimes love bombing can turn to hate bombing real quick. And it goes bomb, 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 bomb. And so the marriage fell apart. And I'd love to say they divorced amicably, but we all know that probably wasn't the right thing, was it? It didn't happen that way. And so, but he had met somebody else, again, 20 years his junior, and from the Philippines, and he married her, which kind of took a little pressure off because now we had 50-50 custody of the children, and it was wonderful because Maureen and I could spend all of our waking hours having these children, loving on them, teaching them all the unity principles that we can have the life we want to have. You can be who you want to be, and it was wonderful. And things went well for a little teeny bit. And then all of a sudden, it was September 2019, 16 December 2019, it was a Monday. And on that night, the school where the two children went called me up. Now, I thought that was odd. And when they called, they said, look, the school is closed, and we're going to have to take your grandchildren to the social services if someone doesn't come pick them up. We've called the mother, there's no response. We've called the father and the third wife, no response. And so I said, I will be there in a nanosecond. I'll be right there, hold the doors open, I'll come get the kids. I get the kids, we go home, we do what we always have, our lovely dinner together, we had our cuddle time, we took our prayers, did the things that we always did, and we went to bed. At midnight, boom, 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 the police were at the door. And they were there to tell me that my only child, the love of my life, had just disappeared. Death by suicide. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. And it was interesting because there was nothing else to do. She had just disappeared. Now, there was a part of me that wanted to be angry and blame and all the regret that one has, how that happened, and worry and fear and doubt. But I'll be honest, those are just time wasters, and they will not help you or support you to do what needs to be done in life. And a unity friend of ours named Mary Moylan always used to say, if you worry, why should you pray? And if you pray, there's no need for worry. So why worry? Why would you worry if you're going to pray? And so I always loved that. I always loved that so much. And so that's what I started doing. Faith plus strength just was not enough. It just was not enough. I had to add action. You must take action. And so, because we sometimes think in metaphysics that I can just pray on it. You have to put action in or it doesn't come to pass. And so immediately I started going to a grief counselor for my grandchildren to figure out what would be the best way to tell them, because they still had to be told that their mom had disappeared. I had to start the facilities, and I didn't want to have a funeral, so we had a celebration of Marie's life. And I am so grateful, I will be grateful to the day I die, that we had the Unity community, because not only was Marie part of the Unity community, so were Michaela and Matthew. Everybody knew us. And so consequently, they were so helpful in putting together this celebration, because I said I wanted to be kid-friendly so that we would know that when children have a parent that passes, it's so important to give them the opportunity to take control of something. And so we included them in every part of the planning, from having peanut butter and jelly sandwich for the other kids and doing all kinds of things. And so the next thing I did was I went to her ex and their wife, and I said, we would love to have you come to the celebration to really support and comfort your children. Please come. He gave a resounding no, that they were not going to come. Now, I could have really gotten upset about that, but I knew the love that these children would need and the support and comfort they would need would come from our Unity community. And so what we did was, and thank God they came up. Michaela decided that we had been watching the movie Coco, and the theme song for Coco is Remember Me. And that she practiced at my house. I've got microphones all over my house because I'm a speaker. And all week long she practiced. And when she got up in church and stood and sang, remember my mom, even though she's far apart, remember my mom. There wasn't a dry eye in the church. Everybody cried. And little Matthew was only 4. And I bought these big Dove biodegradable balloons. And he wanted to lead the balloon release. And so the kids spent the day coloring on these balloons, sending their memos to their mom in heaven. And he got to lead the balloon release and felt so special that he got to do that, because it gave them some sense of control in a situation that was so out of control. And so it was such a wonderful thing. And that was just the beginning, because after the celebration, and they went home, my ex-son-in-law and his third wife decided they were going to strip me of my grandparent rights, and that I would not have access to my grandchildren. And I know in metaphysics we think that, we can just pray on it, but you have to take action. And I did pray on it, and I did get the path I was supposed to go. And the reality is the legal system is not my forte. I'm a motivational speaker. I spend my life helping people be inspired and motivated. And the legal system is adversarial, and I don't know it, and I don't really care to learn it. But I had to do what I had to do. And so his forte was the legal system. He had used it as a weapon. And so I had to learn it, but I would refuse to do that. I still made a decision. Love was the answer. I would shower them with love, stand before I went in, shower the court with love, shower the judge with love, shower everybody with love, because that's all I know how to do. And so I learned it enough to do that. And instead of, thank you, and she says she knows that, she could identify with that, I can tell you that. There were so many simple solutions that we could have come to, but because of the vengeance that he had and the anger and the rage that he had inside of him, that had really nothing to do with me, had to do with him and his stubbornness, which was not in the best interest of his children, it didn't matter. It was a very costly and long, drawn-out legal fight. And the reality was, in the end, I got grandparent rights. So your prayers, your love, and what we did absolutely made sense. And so with that, it was really interesting because we got that. And so we had to say, let's go to get it done. But in all that time, I didn't have a minute to grieve. Not 1 minute to grieve. And my mama, who was the love of my life, also, She had a saying, and her saying was always so simple. Crying cleanses the soul of sadness, but laughing, because she came from Massachusetts, laughing revives you. And at that minute in time, I took a day and just wept and wept and wept. There were tears, a river of tears. But then, some people just stop there. You have to add the second part, which is then you have to laugh. And so I watched every episode that I could find of America's Funniest Home Videos. And if you sit through one and cannot laugh, Lord have mercy, there's something wrong there. Something wrong there, because my gut was just killing me. But that's what you have to do if you're ever in grieving. And so finally, I was back with my brand new babies. And so we were back to faith, strength, and action, and the three of us, the 3 M's. And we were having a great time when it was just after 2020, which was the pandemic. And during the pandemic, the kids were by themselves. We had not had access, so they weren't talking to me every day. We were calling before that happened. We called every day, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, and sent little videos to each other. We played online games. We did all kinds of things. They had lots of contact. They had lots of contact with their friends. It had all stopped in 2020. They had no contact with their friends, no contact with their family, nothing. And so in 2021, when we got to reunite, Michaela looked at me and she said, Mimi, I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. You don't call anymore, and I don't get to talk to you, and I'm so lonely. And I said, don't you worry, baby, we're going to take care of that. And what did we do? I formed what we called the Fun Bunch. And so the Fun Bunch was, each time that we would meet once a month, which was our granted time, what I did was I brought all gang of kids. I called all these mamas and set it up ahead of time so that we would have a friend for Matthew, Landon, and we'd have friends for Michaela, Hillary, and Catherine, and then the mamas would come. We went to the Renaissance Festival. We had the Christmas party, of every kind of party you can possibly think of. We went to Urban Air, which is inside trampoline, and if you've ever seen a Mimi trampling on the trampoline, Lord have mercy, it would scare you. Don't do that, Mimi! And so flying through the air, we had a great time. And so on February 3rd of this month, we were supposed to have a great big Valentine's party, and the gang was already going to be there. And all of a sudden, I got word that my court-ordered visitation had been canceled. No heads up. It was supposed to be a 7-day advance notice. That was in the court order. Didn't happen. They were whisked away to the Philippines to hide. And so Dad went back and sold the house, packed up the house, and moved to Kentucky. The kids were already in the Philippines. They have no idea they're not coming back to Arizona. None. And why I tell you this is because what is that? What the looks like on the physical plane. That's what it looks like. And it looks like it could be hopeless. It looks that way. But I know I have faith and strength and action. I know that's what it looks like. This is the Mall of Asia. So I know they're there. I don't know where they are there. I haven't been able to talk to them. This is the 26th of February. That happened on the 3rd. And I haven't been able to find their safety or their well-being. But I have faith that God is holding them in his hand and protecting them. And why I say this today is using everything we learn in unity, asking faith, strength, and action. Because God says, ask for help. I can't do this by myself. I couldn't do it when Mary died, and I can't do it again. So I ask my unity community, you have to remember, I will make a way for you. I know the path is being cleared for me right now. Your prayers are helping with that. I will find a way. I will fight your battles. I will help you. I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm not an adversary. I never have been. I don't choose to learn to do that. But I know the way will be shown to me. And prayer is the best medicine. The fact that y'all have been praying day and night and sending that to us has been so helpful. And I trust in God's timing. I don't know. I know what my timing is. I wanted it back on 3rd of February, and we're at the 26th of February, and I don't know where my grandchildren are. So what I say to you is, please pray for my grandchildren. And all you have to say, if you don't know what else to say thank you that they're reunited. Thank you for putting us here. And so, how to help? Because we know with God, all things are possible. So it may not look the way I think it should look right now, but with God, all things are possible. So number 1, Etch-a-Sketch. It is our practical unity. Shake out the picture you don't like. I'm shaking that picture out that I don't like. And I want you to clearly see the end result, that we are reunited. And I want you to see the end result for yourself. What is a challenge that you're facing right now that you want to get rid of? Shake it out and draw your new picture. Draw your new picture with what? Your end result in mind. Know what you want, because God knows if you say, well, what do you want? And God comes to you and says, what do you want? And you go, oh, I don't know. God's going to go, thump. I'll come back when you are ready. So you got to be ready. So find the end result that you want. All right? Pray to clear the path for us to be united. That's what my prayer is, that you will hopefully help me with. Pray yourself to find the path that will get you to your end result. And number 3 is shower us with love. There cannot be enough love surrounding my grandchildren, surrounding me, surrounding each and every one of you. Just cannot be. Just cannot be. So just see showers and showers of love, that they will be able to be safe and reunited. And so please pray for my grandchildren. If you ever want to contact me, it's Maureen G. Mulvaney, MGM. You can email me at mgm@mgmsuperstar.com, or you can call me at 480-280-6776. I am here with you, and I want you to know I am so grateful for each and every one of you, for all your prayers, for all the things that you have done, and how we will make this come to pass. Because with God, all things are possible. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for your time today. And so, I'll do this while Sandra's getting the next thing. So I say, today I say yes to the Spirit. I say yes, and I am blessed. I say yes to Spirit's love for me, and I say yes, and I am blessed. And so we say that, and here we go. We say that I am a beloved child of God, here to be an ambassador of good. And I'm a joyful sharer. I don't know about y'all, but I am a joyful sharer, because you and I both know whatever you give out, you receive. So if y'all want to say, I can't give anything today. Oh, Lord, don't do that. Don't ever do that. You just put it in that envelope and you send it right on in. And remember that as I give, I receive, and God is my source. And so we have Sharon and Jeannie today are going to be our collectors. And so go ahead and collect that. And for you on camera, unityoftempe.org, unityoftempe.org. If this is a place that you want to give to receive talents and treasures back, we ask you to please give there. That's a wonderful place to give, because Unity is thriving, and we bring in lots of new people all the time. And so today we say, we are so blessed to bless all of the people that have been in that prayer box. Every prayer that's ever been in there, every prayer in the future is already blessed, and the end result is already here for them. And our receipts here, as we give, so we should receive. We are showering this whole community with great abundance, and so it is. All righty. And so our annual meeting, for those that have not seen, our annual meeting is coming up. It is March 12th at 11:15, so it will be right after service. So if you haven't been here in a while and want to attend our annual meeting, ooh, they're always so fun. You're going to love it. So bring it on, because I know we're going to have cookies and cakes kind of like we've got today. And so members, your presence is requested for voting, because that's where we vote in our new board. That's where we vote in the kind of direction we want to go for the next year. So be there and be square. Okay, so meeting, and when is it? March. When is it, everybody? When is it, everybody? March 12th. It's going to be March 12th. Come on, bring it on. All right. And so be a blessing to your spiritual community. Board member openings. I think we have one board member opening left, and that's the opportunity that we have ahead. And so, Sandra, I'm going to let you finish off, and we say God bless to each and every one listening.
Okay, thank you. We have our song that we're going to have by Andy Grammer now.
I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue. And I will stay with you. We'll make it to the other side, like lovers do. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to, until I wait for you. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me. And I will hold on to you. No matter what this world will throw, won't shake me loose. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to, until I wait for you. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on. And I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know, does everybody cry? I apologize.
Guys,
This song with kids singing it is like,
guys, I want to hear what you're saying. I think you might want to
man.
also.
You guys brought me to tears. Thank you so much. That was really, really special. Your voices are so good. How old are you all?
he's gonna
sound like I'm being over the top, but this was one of my favorite days of my life. It really, really. Whoa! It really was. Wow.
Okay. Well, we give to the food bank, so when you go to the grocery store, you can pick up a few more things because we're helping with them. And now we're going to have the prayer of protection. Okay. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The breath of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well, and we are grateful.